Okay, so super ego, mega carriers. All right. Now I haven't covered super ego. I haven't been over the road in a while. I'm going back over the road, but I guess we could talk about what I've been going through in regards of just applying for over the road jobs again. So super ego is a carrier out of Chicago. They're out of Illinois. I know that for sure. I think they're out of Chicago. You guys could correct me in the comments of this video if you know about super ego. I'm sure a lot of you guys do. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard about this super ego situation. So from what I hear, super ego, it's more of like I don't know if they have company drivers, but if they do, I'm sure it's just as bad. But from what I hear, super ego, they focus on lease operators. Pretty much what a lease operator is like a half-ass owner operator. So you're pretty much, like paying off a truck that you're buying from the trucking company, and whatever finances you got going on with them is between you and the company. And if you leave, you like return the truck back, and they're paying you like a percentage of the load. You're supposed to make more money that way, I guess. When you do the math and you deduct your business expenses and all that, most of the time you make less than a company driver. That's why I would never be a lease operator for pretty much any company, because the numbers that I'm hearing, they're making about the same. If they do make more, and it's not all the time, because sometimes they're going to have a slow week where a company driver can consistently make more than them. Now, I know our pay goes down in the winter because it's snowing, there's a lot of storms, it rains a lot in the winter, so we have to drive slower. So that means less miles. We'll have like a snowy week or a rainy week, and you got to go slow, so you get less miles. But for the most part, company drivers do make more than lease operators, right? So being a lease operator, you want to pay off the truck to eventually own the truck outright. And then when you own the truck outright and you don't owe no more money to the trucking company, you can go off on your own with that truck and go and do your own thing. The problem is, for the most part, with, again, companies like super ego, by the time you pay off the truck, you have put so many miles on the truck that the truck is about to break down. It's no different than paying a high interest loan on a car from a dealership, you know? And super ego, they seem to be the worst one. From what I hear, I've seen their trucks. If you're a truck driver, you've seen super ego's trucks on the highway. So I guess what they do is they got super ego trailers, but the trucks are like dummy companies, right? Like if you see a super ego tractor trailer, the tractor, it doesn't say super ego on it. It says something like, for example, like Johnson's Carriers 324 or whatever, or for example, like Harry Potter's trucking company, or just whatever. If you ever want to see what the truck driver with the company that they're driving for, you don't look at the trailer, you don't look at what they're hauling, you look at the tractor and you look at the logo on the door and you see what it is, right? So super ego, I guess what they do is they start these dummy companies because they're so bad that I guess like they get so many violations, they get so many DOT violations on hours of service and the equipment and just all kind of shit, that eventually they're dummy companies. Like say they start off with Johnson's Carriers, okay? And all year this Johnson's Carriers, which is really super ego holding, has been getting all these violations. So eventually Johnson's Carriers is forced to shut its doors. So what they do is that they take the money out of that and they go and start another dummy company. But the whole time it's just super ego holding. And when you're a lease operator, you're leasing from these dummy companies. So I don't know what mess it is if, say, you're in a lease with their dummy company that went out of business, that they had to shut it down because they've been getting too many violations. Now they opened up another dummy company, but your lease was with this last dummy company. You get what I'm saying? Like, are you just stuck holding the bag? Or do you got to like renegotiate or whatever? I have no idea. From what I hear, the lease operators at super ego, they get fucked over so bad that they end up taking home sometimes like $200-$300 a week running OTR, running all 48 states, dude. Like, maxing out their clock. And then another thing what they do on the hours of service is, I guess they run illegal. Like, there's so many videos. This is all allegedly, okay? I've never worked for Super Ego, but I think it's important for us as drivers, when you see so many people talking about a situation in your industry. Look, if I'm in a room full of my family members, and I got like 100 family members in a room, and it's just little old me, and they're all telling me that I smoke crack, and I'm the only one who's defending myself, and even like my closest family members are saying, no, dude, you smoke crack. I probably smoke crack, okay? So if there's all of these videos on YouTube talking about Super Ego, and you have ex-drivers and current active drivers at Super Ego talking about when they run out of their 11-hour clock or their 14-hour clock, and they're out of hours that they could be on the road or operating on duty, they get a call from Super Ego, where they pull over and Super Ego says, oh, like, call this number and you'll get more hours. And they do something with their hours, you know what I mean? Like, they edit the logs somehow, because it's illegal to edit drive time, but they work some sort of what would be illegal magic on their hours of service, and all of a sudden they get like a whole new clock. They get like 10 more hours or whatever that they could drive, which is crazy, because I don't know about you, but if you've driven the full 11 hours, which I rarely did and I rarely do, you know, you're tired at the end of the day, you know, from all that driving. You get tired. So to drive another like 5 hours after that, or 6 or whatever, to get to your customer, dude, that's nuts. That is insane. And it's illegal, and it makes drivers fatigued, which is a danger on the road. So Super Ego Holding, they got fatigued drivers that are out there running illegal hours of service, and at the end of the day, they're getting fucked over so bad that they're bringing home $300, like what they take home after their business expenses and after what they owe to Super Ego. And just like, I guess even, I think there's been claims of Super Ego working with double brokers. So by the time the truck driver gets whatever price that he or she accepts on the load, it's so low, you know what I mean? And Super Ego, I guess, I have no idea, dude. I've just heard nothing but bad shit from Super Ego. I heard like they act as a broker or whatever, and it gets into more than just Super Ego, okay? When I started my trucking channel, I guess it's a trucking channel, you know, it's me just vlogging my life, but trucking has been a big part of my life. My work is a big part of my life. And I applied for my last 2 companies at England and Night Transportation, and none of them wanted me. Neither one of them wanted to hire me. I'm ineligible to go back to CR England. I'm pretty sure that's because of my YouTube videos criticizing them, especially criticizing the CEO of like one of the Englands that came down to my account and did a pay cut on the drivers on Driver Appreciation Week. You know, like this rich dude who's at England, okay, who's a part of the England family. I'm pretty sure this guy has a net worth. He himself, not talking about his family, they're multi-billionaires, I'm sure, but just he himself, I'm sure he has a net worth of a couple million and a salary of probably a couple million. And he felt the need to go down to Shafter and to do a pay cut to drivers that are probably homeless. Just a disgusting piece of shit like that. On Driver Appreciation Week, he took away $5 from the hourly rate that they were paid while they were waiting in the break room. They went from getting 20 an hour to 15 an hour. All right. And then he took away, like, my DM at my account at CR England was a good DM. He was just working with the tools that he had to work with within the company. So he would give me layover pay, you know, and other drivers would get layover pay if they asked for it. Because the way that account was set up, if you didn't get layover pay, you were pretty much missing out on pretty much a full days of work. Like, at least, yeah, you're pretty much missing out on a day of work. Because at my last account at CR England, well, not my last account, but when I was at CR England on the account that I was on, it was a dedicated account We would run from California and Nevada, mainly in California, and the goal was to do like 2 loads a day, 3 if you could make that work. You know what I mean? If you were just running around like the 661 and 559 area, if you ran 3 loads a day, then you could make a lot of money, right? And then so if you had to, if they gave you a load where you had to go sleep somewhere, like say I had to go from Bakersfield to San Jose and spend the night somewhere around there to get to Salinas, California the next morning, or wherever it is up there, right? Or somewhere else in San Jose to get my trailer loaded to bring back a backhaul to the distribution center in Bakersfield. Well, I'm only running that 1 load, and I'm missing out on the opportunity to go back and do 1 more local load to make me some good money, to make at least like $300 a day to make it worth it, you know? So without that layover pay, I'm literally making like 150, maybe less than that a day. And the CEO of CR England, you know, someone who was born with a silver spoon in his mouth, felt the need to go and tell the DM, oh, you're giving your drivers layover pay? Oh no, don't you're not allowed to do that. And here's the thing. Here's the thing about the layover pay. Now, from what I heard is it didn't even come from England themselves, you know? It should have came from CR England themselves. It should have came from the company. From what I hear, they were charging Walmart. The account that I was on was a Walmart account. They were charging Walmart that layover, and Walmart would pay it out, right? Same thing with detention. So CR England themselves, you know, on the account that I was on, even though they have the money to do it, they weren't paying the drivers detention or layover. They were charging Walmart and making Walmart flip that bill. CR England has so much money. They have the money to pay detention and layover like they should. They have the money to pay $20 an hour to the drivers who are local, who wait in the break room, who are waiting to get a truck, you know? And if they don't get a truck, they go home with the full 8 hours paid out at like $20 an hour or whatever it is, right? And the CEO of CR England came down and fucking did a pay cut. And this is the same asshole that I had to watch on a safety video for free and not be paid to watch a safety video every month, you know? And then just because I've been struggling looking for local work, they have an account in Livingston, which isn't too far from Modesto. It's a lot closer than me driving to the Bay Area. So I said, let's see if they'll bring me back on. I applied and I'm not eligible. Even though when I left the company, I left on, I think I gave them damn near like a 3 weeks notice, let alone a 2 weeks notice. And I left the truck as clean as I possibly could, you know, a 409'd it and everything, you know? So CR England, they didn't want to hire me back, I'm pretty sure, because I made videos talking about the situation on how he came and did a pay cut, you know? And it's just disgusting. We need, especially us as YouTubers, and just the trucking community, like they have DAC reports on us. We have this on them, okay? A DAC report can blackball you from the trucking industry, at least for a few years, okay? To where you might as well just go do something else if you have a horrible DAC report. So us as truck drivers, like how you have all these truck drivers talking about how bad Super Ego is, and how I talked about that situation at CR England, how one of the Englands came and did a pay cut to drivers who, a lot of them were homeless living out of a truck, or some were living out of their car in hot ass Bakersfield, showering at a gym before they came to work. Think about it. A multimillionaire came and did a pay cut. Oh God, it just makes me want to vomit, dude. I'm never deleting those videos. People need to know about that, because that is bullshit. That is bullshit. It's bullshit that you got, you know, truck drivers getting screwed over at Super Ego Holding, bringing home $300 a week after running more than 70 hours a week, running illegal logs. They're putting in all this time and they're getting screwed over, right? Knight didn't want to hire me back. I'm pretty sure that's because I went there and I left, and I didn't even do like a full 2 months. I probably did like I did just short of 2 months. I left because I went to go sign up. I went to go drive for ports, and they told me I was going to be doing ports. I was going to be doing Las Vegas rail yards to the Long Beach port and back. I was going to have a set schedule, and I was going to be doing this dedicated run from Las Vegas ports, the Las Vegas rail yards into the Long Beach port, just back and forth. And when that slows down, occasionally they said I would do a run out to Phoenix or somewhere in Arizona, from Arizona maybe to Southern California and then back to Nevada, right? The first load I did, they sent me out to Oregon and then Spokane, Washington. No, the first load, it was to Southern California, then from Southern California up to Oregon, and then Spokane, Washington, and then back up and down California, and then dude, like Utah, Idaho. Like a few times they kept me in the triangle where I was supposed to be at. I never once picked up a container, right? So I felt like I was being lied to. Running OTR at night, it wasn't really that bad. I got used to it. The work was pretty easy, just doing live loads and dropping hooks, but that wasn't what I signed up for, so I left. And I'm pretty sure because I left so early, that's why Night didn't want to hire me back. Night transportation, I got a better experience at night than I did at CR England. CR England, I've never worked for Western Express, but CR England, in my opinion, from just my short time in trucking, no, dude, they're not really a good company. Because like my trainer was a piece of shit. They made me buy an inverter and charged me damn near like $1,000 to buy an inverter for my truck, when Night Transportation gave me a free inverter and a refrigerator. You know, CR England doesn't give you none of that. Even if you go on over the road, they don't. I don't know about now. When I left, they were starting to equip the trucks with APUs. But when I was at CR England, you had to buy the company inverter. And if you put in your own inverter, you would get fired, you know? And if you had to buy your own refrigerator, dude, this is the Englands that we're talking about, okay? And then they come and do a pay cut. Dude, I wouldn't want to go work for them anyways. You know, I applied, but that's when I was just really down on my luck and I was like in a depression or whatever. I think that I'm just saying all that to say this, you know, this guy Trucks was talking about how Super Ego, they hit him up. They got 3 people on the truck. Yeah, dude. Yeah. When I was doing my training at CR England, it was me, another student, and the mentor. And the mentor is a fucking piece of shit. He left. He kept me out there longer than I needed to be out there for, because one student that was on the truck got upset and left because the trainer was running. He didn't do it with me, but he did it with the other guy that walked off of the truck. That he didn't walk off the truck, but when we got back to Southern California at our yard, he got off the truck. There was a few days when I seen him running like 16 hours straight, driving, dude. Like when his hours were about to run out, the trainer did something like on the ELD, and fucking all of a sudden he had like 8 extra hours or whatever. It was like, wow, dude, like, that's fucking insane, dude. You know? Yeah, my trainer was a piece of shit. And I know there's good trainers out there. I was a driver trainer at England, and I tried to be a good one, you know. I didn't know much. I was still learning when I had my first student. My first student, he taught me some shit that I forgot because he was fresh out of trucking school, you know. But yeah, dude, we need to start holding these trucking companies accountable, you know, because yeah, hours of service, the ELDs, they screw us over. They do. But it is what it is. There's really nothing that we could do about that. I mean, there's not going to be a day where all truck drivers just stop the trucks and we have like a national trucking shutdown. That's never going to happen, especially with all the people who have CDLs who don't even speak English. We can't reach out to everyone who has a CDL and say, okay, on this day or this whole week, don't move your truck. If you do, we're going to find you. Nah, man, that's never going to happen. But what we can do with this internet, because this guy Truck said Super Ego reached out to him and they wanted to like have a meeting with him, even though he's never worked for Super Ego, and they want to like try to convince him to take the videos down of him talking about the Super Ego situation. But dude, there's so many videos on YouTube of drivers covering the super ego situation. This guy Trucks, yeah, he has a bigger platform than a lot of the super ego drivers who just made this video, who aren't really YouTubers like that, who just made a video saying, hey, don't come work here, they're fucking me over. Dude, this is our DAC report. This YouTube is our DAC report. If a company gets bad press, they probably deserve it, right? I got hired on with the company. I'm not going to say where I'm going, but I got hired on with the company. The account seems pretty good, and it's OTR. It's regional, so it's like half-ass OTR, but yeah, it's a mega carrier. But I've heard good things about this mega carrier. I haven't really heard too many bad things about this mega carrier. I could actually see myself just like probably even just retiring at this company I'm going to go and drive for. But I just wanted to speak on this real quick. I got to go back to work pretty soon. But yeah, us as truckers, we need to hold these trucking companies accountable. If you see something, say something. I'm talking about you watching this. If you work for a company, big or small, whatever, and there's some shady shit going on, there's something fucked up going on to where they're treating drivers bad, or they're even doing something illegal, like supposedly super ego, make a video about it. I mean, this right here, you know, this is like the new TV now, is YouTube. And this is how companies can get bad press, or by people coming out and talking about what's going on, voicing their opinion. Use your voice. Don't just sit there and fucking take it, right? This is probably literally the most effective way of holding these companies accountable, because when people, like, say someone who just graduated from trucking school and they got their CDL, and super ego is offering them a job. Well, what are they going to do? They're going to go on YouTube and look up super ego, and they're going to see all this bad shit about super ego, and they're not going to go and work there, which is going to be bad for super ego because they're going to be struggling to get drivers. Good, dude. Enough with this shit. We shouldn't be just putting up with their shit like that, dude. We don't deserve that, you know? Hold them accountable, right? And they hit you with cease and assist and all that, dude. Wipe your ass with it. Seriously, you know? Sick of these fucking companies getting over on drivers, man. This shit's annoying me already, dude. What you talking about? So England said you're not allowed to come back and make that whopping 38 cents a mile. I know, right? Yeah. It wasn't 38 cents. They started me off at like 50 cents a mile. I was getting 50 cents a mile when I left. I got up to 52 cents a mile. I think like they did that 2-cent raise, and it was like a big fucking deal, you know? I remember I was driving like 50 cents a mile when I got my own truck. It was 50 cents a mile. And then they put out like these videos and these updates on the company website. Oh, we did a national raise in the company. You know, we did a company raise, and everyone's getting 2 extra cents. Like, oh, they always say, oh, this is 10% above the national average. Oh, God, dude. It's just so fucking stupid, you know? What else is going on here? Rogo, company OTR, and do not lease. Schneider's strongest market is in Southern California. Check them out. Yeah, I've heard good things about Schneider. I've heard bad things about Schneider, but I've heard good things too. I heard they have a lease program. I heard some bad things about their lease program, but just as a company, I heard that it's pretty good right there at Schneider. I don't know, when you see a Schneider, every time I see a Schneider truck, I don't know, it's just that orange and like dark gray, you know, on the side skirt that says apply at Schneider Jobs or whatever. It just seems like I don't know, it's just the marketing is genius, just the colors and everything. I look at that, I'm like, man, that looks like a good place to go and work, you know? Like, but you know, if you get there, it's probably just another mega carrier, you know? There are good things about mega carriers. One good thing about a mega carrier is you could pretty much always get a job there, as long as you don't like go to night transportation, work there for less than 2 months and leave, and then try to go back a few months later, right? But for the most part, you can always get a job at a mega carrier, right? So this rookie trucker is going back to OTR. I bet my cousin 1,200 that he will go back over the road within 1 year. Looks like I won. Yeah, don't ever lease. Why no more local driving? Yeah, steady work on OTR. It just hasn't been working out on the local side. I had one offer from Coca-Cola, but that's when I was living out here in the Bay Area. That was like, I applied for Coca-Cola probably like in February. I applied for Coca-Cola. They had barely called me back in like July, right? For an application I put in like more than like about 6 months before that. And that Coca-Cola location that wanted to give me a job was in the Bay Area starting at like 3 or 4 in the morning. But I'm living in Modesto. There's no fucking way I'm driving an hour that early in the morning from Modesto to go drive for Coca-Cola. If it was Coca-Cola in Stockton or Pepsi in Modesto, I would have easily done that because that's right in my neighborhood, right? Stockton is still like 30 minutes from Modesto, but you get what I'm saying, dude. I'm not driving, nah, dude, from the Central Valley to the Bay that early in the morning, dude, for Coca-Cola, fuck that. You know, but everything else I've applied for, R&L carriers, Estes, Saya. I had an interview with Saya. He said he'd call me back. Never heard from him again, you know. Dependable Highway Express, FedEx, UPS, Cisco, US Foods, Pepsi. Nothing's going on. I'm stuck in this fucking temp job that I got driving this straight truck. You know, I'm lucky that I'm employed at all because I know what it's like to be unemployed. So that's why I'm going back OTR. And plus, it's more than just that. It's more than just the job thing. I'm just looking around California and I know like I'm getting old, you know. I'm 32. Next year, I'm going to be 33. And if I stick around California, like say I do get a good job out here eventually, I'm still not going to be a homeowner out here in California, you know. I have confidence in myself that I can make something happen even right here on YouTube and make a boatload of money. But dude, I need to get myself into a house that I own like now, you know what I'm saying? Like as soon as I can, dude. I'm getting old, and the longer and longer like I hold off buying a house, it's hard to save money in California. It's expensive as fuck. The jobs aren't popping out here. They're just not popping, dude. A lot of companies, a lot of business has left the state. And I feel like since a lot of like tech companies and just businesses in general has left the state, I feel like a lot of people have gotten out of the tech industry. A lot of people used to work in tech out here, but a lot of the tech companies have left. So I feel like a lot of people who are still here in the Bay Area, who used to work in tech, who, you know, you don't have to get a college degree to work in tech, right? But the people who I do know who work in tech, who are like programmers, just software guys and shit like that, there's been a lot of people like that in the Bay Area who haven't been able to get a job for fucking years, dude. From like fucking, there's people out here that have been unemployed since like 2021 trying to get a tech job. Now they're unemployable for tech because they've been out of the workforce that long. So a lot of those people have gone into other lines of work. Like people who have college degrees, they've gone into construction and trucking. You know, this is something where people come where their last job didn't work out and they get their CDL because the CDL is so easy to get. So now that a lot of the businesses have left, there's still like a few of these trucking companies left in the state. It's so competitive to get a job. That, and on top of all the people who became truck drivers in 2020 during lockdown, and they sold off their trucks once the market took a shit and the rates went in the dump once we came out of lockdown. So you have the people from 2020 who became truck drivers. You have the people who, you know, whether they were in tech, some sort of finance, consulting, who they don't want to leave the state of California. They don't want to go move to Austin, Nashville, Phoenix, North Carolina, the East Coast, even New York. They don't want to move to where all these companies are fleeing out of California, you know? So you have them who became truck drivers and, you know, blue collar workers too. So I'm competing with all these motherfuckers for these small amount of jobs that are out here. It's not popping out here. Texas is popping. Hey, let me get some air in here. From what I hear and from what I see, Texas is like what California used to be. Texas is where all the money is. It's where all the business is. It's where most of the businesses have gone to. It's where most of like the tech companies have moved to. Texas is where it's popping. So like that's where I'm looking to go, is to Texas. Because this shit in California, dude, and on top of that, so you have like the financial struggles of just trying to find a good job in California. It wasn't like that back in the day. Like fucking 7 to 10 years ago, dude, this was the place to be. If you were young and you were getting into your career, no matter what line of work you were doing, you wanted to come to the Silicon Valley, to the Bay Area, because there was just so much work out here. Even if you just wanted to move here, it was so easy to get a job here, dude. It's not like that no more. It's just not, man. And I see the difference now that I'm back home. Because I know what it used to be like out here. It wasn't like this before. It wasn't like this, dude. All the unemployment. And then on top of that, you have, you know, all these homes over here are like, what? The minimum $500,000 for like a small little fucking condo. $600, $700, $1 million plus for a house. And on top of that, you're paying the high cost of living, the food prices, gas, everything. It's done, dude. Like, if I stay here in California, even if I were to get a good job out here, it still wouldn't make sense to be out here. Because, dude, I'm never going to be able to afford to own anything out here, dude. I'm going to become an old man here in California and end up on the streets when I'm old, dude. So, and there's a lot of people that are doing that. There's a lot of people who have no intentions of leaving California. There's a lot of old money here in California. There's a lot of people who are staying here because maybe they're like their grandparents or their mom or their parents own a home here, and when they pass away, they're going to inherit that house or whatever. I don't have that. I don't fucking have that shit out here in California, you know? And I wouldn't really want to do that anyways, like just wait around to inherit a house from your parents. I'd rather just go out and buy my own fucking house, you know? So that's why I'm leaving California. That's why I'm going back over the road. I'm going back over the road to save up to, you know, like, I'll become a driver trainer again. I'll become a mentor again, run hard, work hard and shit, and stack up as much money as I can. And, you know, hey, if not Texas, I really wanted to make it work in Texas, but dude, I'm not even, you know, turning away like Alabama or something. You look at like Zillow in the South, dude, there's a lot of good deals in the South. Alabama, Louisiana, and even a lot of parts of Texas, dude, you can find a house for like $200,000. Sometimes under $200,000, you can find a good like three bedroom, two bathroom house out there in the South. You're not finding that in the West Coast. You're not finding that in fucking in Colorado. You're not finding that even around like Idaho, maybe in like Timbuktu in the middle of nowhere, but definitely not around Boise. You're definitely not finding that in California, Oregon, Washington, anywhere on the God damn, I hate those exhausts, dude. Anywhere on the West Coast, you're not finding that shit. You're not finding that shit probably in New York City. Fuck no. Maybe, I don't know, Florida, maybe in the Panhandle, but the South, the more south you go in Florida, I just don't see it, you know? It seems to be like even where my sister lives in Ohio, you could still find a good deal in Ohio, you know? So, and here's the thing. God damn, dude. as these home prices keep going up and up, and as they stay, if they're either going to stay where they are, because California is not going to get affordable, it's going to continue to get expensive out here, or it's going to stay where it is, which is already unaffordable. More and more people from the coast are going to move inland, right? Are going to move towards the middle of the country, north, central, and south, right? Where it's still kind of cheap. So if you buy a house for like, dude, I saw a nice house in Alabama, I think in like Mobile, Alabama, and like South Alabama, for like $125,000, a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house that's not fucked up. That's like, damn, it looked like it was turnkey. There's probably like little things that you need to fix here and there, but dude, a house, it wasn't a mobile home, dude, a house in Alabama for $125,000, dude. You buy that now, in 10 years, that'll be worth that. For sure, it'll be worth 3 in 10 years, dude, if not 4 or 5. I'm telling you, man. So if you're young, if you're living on the coast like me, the East Coast, the West Coast or East Coast, where it's real fucking expensive, and you want to get into real estate, this is what I'm doing. This is what I got in my head. Move to the states where nobody wants to move to, right? Indiana, Ohio, Alabama, small parts of Texas, not Dallas, Austin, or even like Waco or anything, or like definitely not Houston, but nah, move out to like the middle of nowhere out in Texas, and get into these mortgages where you can easily afford it because the house price is so cheap. If you buy in Alabama, Arkansas, a lot of people don't want to move to Arkansas, a lot of people don't want to move to Oklahoma, Alabama, Nebraska's getting kind of expensive. It is. Indiana, I think I already said that. Ohio, Wisconsin, these are states that people don't really want to move to, right? Go check out those places. Pennsylvania is pretty cheap too. Check out Pennsylvania. Go check out the states where no one wants to move to. Because here's the thing. It's either that or you stay on the West Coast or the East Coast and you get old and you don't own nothing when you're old and you're about to retire, then you end up on the streets. Then you ain't gonna have nowhere to go. When you're living on the streets, those flyover states that no one wants to move to, they're a lot better than your fucking tent. I swear to God, dude. Thanks for the super chat. Someone gave me a super chat. Let me try to find it. Sadie C, thank you. Appreciate that. Legit 48 states. Find a place you could buy a home with the terminal and good freight nearby. Yeah, dude. South Dakota, Kansas, Missouri, all that kind of shit. Mississippi's real. Like, you know what I'm saying? Go check out these states that no one wants to move to. Go buy houses out there. America's still worth it. You got to go. If the crowd is all going over there, everyone's moving to Austin, Texas, right? Everyone's moving to Phoenix, Arizona, Las Vegas, Nevada, Reno, what else? Boise, Idaho. Don't move there. Go move to Mississippi, right? Go move to these places where no one wants to move to. Go move to Missouri, not St. Louis, but go move to like these small towns where no one wants to move. You're going to get into a mortgage fast over there. If you're a truck driver, you'll get into a house fast, and you'll be able to buy more homes than someone who's looking at like these big cities like Las Vegas and shit. So that's why I'm leaving California. And as far as these trucking companies go, I really think, we can disagree on whatever, but if we're all in this industry and we're getting fucked over by a company, we should have the balls and just the respect for each other as truck drivers to hold them accountable, to put out an alert right here on YouTube like people have been doing for Super Ego and say, hey, this trucking company, don't drive for them. They're horrible, right? And if they don't like it, good. I got to get back to work, y'all. Be sure to smash the like button on this video, subscribe to the channel, and thanks everybody for stopping by. OnlyFans is your only hope, bro. I would do OnlyFans. Ramos moved to Slab City. I'm paying $2,300 for a 2-bedroom apartment in Lathrop. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Look at that. He's paying $2,300 for a 2-bedroom apartment in Lathrop. I'm good, dude. You paid that $2,300 in Alabama, you're gonna be in like a mansion. Think about it. I'm telling you. Peace out.